Welcome to this live streaming event. My name is Rich Pond, Trigger the Trigger. Welcome to this wonderful time as we're going to get back together and we're going to talk with authors, speakers, experts about their upcoming book. Books are great. I love talking to authors because everyone's journey as an author is different. They're creative in their own way, and everyone has their own different process. And the difference of opinion, the Sameness of Truth, is a book that's going to be coming out very soon. We're going to have a big virtual launch party. Today, we're just going to tease it up again, and we're going to bring in the two authors to talk about their journey and how they first got asked to do this, why they agreed to do this, and do they regret doing this? That's kind of where we're going to go this afternoon. Again, first of all, we are going to bring in from the estates here in America, Sandra Dee Robinson, charisma coach. Good to see you, Sandra.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having us both on. Or did they regret? This is going to be good.
She's in the big old country of Texas, the big old country of Texas down there. You are. And now we're going to go over the pond, and Ciara Heneghan is going to be with us. And if you don't love her accent, you can't stay. You have to leave. Ciara, give us something special. Give us something to really let us know about the accent.
Maybe I'll just say the word Ireland multiple times.
Yes, we love that. Ireland. I can't make it sound as poetic. I don't know. Ireland.
I'll teach you. It's okay. Thanks so much for having us on, Rich.
My tongue does not roll that way. So
that's how I feel about Russians. Their things roll in a whole other way.
Yeah. So let's talk about rolling another way. You two are part of a mastermind, and you guys now. How long have you two known each other? First of all,
a year, maybe, maybe a year. Yeah. And it was one of our mentors that came to Ciara as if she needed another thing on her plate and said, "I challenge you." Basically, you say exactly what he said. He challenged you to write a book in 30 days.
Yeah. Now that was Lee Tunnyware, correct?
Yeah.
We are going to name people here today.
That's good.
just be aware of the names, and they'll be real names. But Lee runs a mastermind, and I know he's been doing this for a while. But you guys are both in the mastermind. What type of a mastermind is this? Because there is so much power in masterminds.
So wasn't it the Brexit call that we were on?
Yes. Yeah.
And something he really enjoys doing is getting people to move. You know, just do it, just move, just commit to something, just say you're going to do something and then just do it. And he wanted to show what was possible when somebody just moved. And so he camera panned, "Hey, Ciara, will you do something for me?" "Yeah," because I'm always going to say yes. And he said, "I'm challenging Ciara today." And he said, Ciara has all these other books and all these other things that she's doing at the minute, but I'm going to challenge her to write a book in 30 days. Will you take that challenge? And I went, "Yeah, okay." And as soon as that happened, he panned to somebody else on the call and he said, "Now give her a topic on what the book should be about." So I wasn't even allowed to choose it myself. And I went, "Whoa, okay." So he went to a guy called Paul Rees, and he went to a guy called Gareth Wax, and then he went to Sandra Dee, and he said, "Now each one of you give a topic." So they're all throwing these topics out, and there was 5 topics. And in my mind, I thought, we're in a collaborative space. I think I'll message Sandra Dee. "Hey, Sandra Dee, do you want to write a book with me?" And I didn't hear anything back to start with, and I thought she's probably looking at her phone, going, "Why?"
So Sandra, did you both work on your idea, or was it someone else's idea, or a totally different idea when you did?
No. I mean, Ciara did take the suggestions, I think, and put things into questions with 5 topics that we cover, and topics like charisma, authenticity, presentation, things that, as we were, discovering just recently, that really get people out of their comfort zone a lot of times, because not everybody's comfortable being themselves or getting in front of people, and worrying about whether they're charismatic or not. I mean, all of that kind of flows together. But she had the question, she wrote her side of the book, and then she came to me, and this is already like 13 days in, right? And said, "Okay, are you started?" So I did mine in it seemed like a day and a half. It was brutally fast. And then this is the best part. I submitted this back to her. We did not discuss what our answers were. I didn't see her, she didn't see mine until we actually,
Okay.
the book was actually, she saw mine because she edited it, but just as far as like grammar and stuff, but we didn't discuss it at all until the book was complete. But she gives me this challenge, right, to go ahead and write this. And so I do, and I send it in, and I had the word count totally wrong. So I send it in, and I'm patting myself on the back. Hey, atta girl, atta girl. And she goes, yeah, we need twice as much. and this is the sad part of this day. I had just put my horse down. So I talk about a challenge. This took a whole nother level because
Wow.
realizing to get a job done. You know,
Mhm.
I talked about this because she had gone through a lot of stuff too when we were writing books, when we were writing the book, and she had lost her dog. I mean, there were so many things that were going on in our lives, and we said, you know, that's part of life, though. You have a challenge, you do it no matter what. And so it was that last, you know, whatever it was, 2,000 words, whatever, or 3,000 words, whatever it was, I pulled out in the last day. Was really the hardest emotionally for sure. And I handed it over to her and I said, I hope that this makes sense because part of me is so shattered, I'm not even sure. And I think it was the experience of pushing through that challenge, I think is what helps people to grow. And that's what challenges do. They
Yeah.
push people outside of the comfort zone because as we know, outside that zone is where all the good stuff happens. So
Well, and when you think
credit.
about that, Ciara, you're a writer by nature. Sandra, you're not by nature.
Not, I mean, I
Right?
used to love to write when I was young, but yeah, I made the mistake of, I don't even know if it was this book, Ciara, or if it was a different one, but I said, I'm getting a little stuck. And so she sends me like a paragraph. I'll just do something like this. And basically it's like Walt Whitman coming to me and I'm going, yeah, like and I'm like, do not look at what Ciara sent. Do not look at what Ciara sent because I can't do that. No, I can't. And back to being authentic, right? It's like, I can't.
Well,
Right?
and
Like, speaks
and
poetry. I mean,
well, and Ciara, for Lee to challenge you to write a book, you're thinking, I'm a writer, I can do this, right? So it was no big hairy deal for you, right?
No, because I had actually written a book in 24 hours a few months previously, a 27,000 word book.
hey,
I just had an idea and I just went for it and I just kept writing. I was a bit like the Forrest Gump of writers. It came to me and there it was. So for me, I thought, yeah, that's okay. I can get this done in 30 days. But something that I want to acknowledge is the fact that it's so funny how when we were going back and forth with the book, and I was writing what I was writing, and Sandra Dee was being so vulnerable and saying, I hope this is okay. And in my mind, all I was thinking was, absolutely, it's okay. It can't not be okay. Because the minute you accept a challenge, the minute you say yes to something, the minute that you put your mind to something, it's okay. Like it's already brilliant because you're putting your mind to it and you're getting involved in it. And let me tell you, she was like, I really hope everything in this is going to be good. And I read it and I just went back to her. I was like, you have no idea what's just happened. Because, and when people read this, they're going to see the title suits the book.
Well, okay. Now you're two authors, different continents. You are a writer. She is not.
different styles. Yeah.
Yeah, totally different styles. And I've interviewed enough authors. A lot of them sometimes say, I start with the end in mind. I know where I want to wrap the book up. Then I have to go back and figure out where the journey begins. How did you guys do that? Because there's two of you, each with your own process that's not even close to the same.
Well, I said to her, I had an idea. I wanted to do something different. I have ideas all the time. And so as soon as I thought of the book and I thought of the title, it came to me and I was grinning and I messaged Lee and I said to him, oh, I already have the title and I've started writing. Literally while we were still on the Brexit call, the opportunities after Brexit call, I started writing the book down below the keys, you know, so no one knows what you're doing. And the idea came to me and the name came to me. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be brilliant. It's something that I don't think has ever been done before. And I wanted it to be something unique. So the idea for what it was came to me first. And then because I knew what each topic was, and I knew Sandra Dee would be able to write these topics in her sleep. Like these aren't things that she's going to be new to. She's got this. So she was the perfect person to ask. You really were. Like, to be fair, you really were. And it just, oh, it was seamless, actually.
Yeah. And a lot of what she's saying is a lot of the sameness of truth is perfect because, as people will see, there are some, I'll say it almost mirrors. There are things that are very, very similar in our stories, yet we grew up in two different continents with two very different family units and different experiences and exposures to so many different things, and our talents are some similar but mostly, quite different. And so to put two humans together and say write a book in such a short period of time and come out with it and then look at it and go, wow, this is the human journey, this is what being human is about.
So let's talk about the journey, because you do. I mean, part of the book is about charisma. That's Sandra's
Yeah.
area. She's all about that. Ciara, what was one of your areas that you knew that you wanted to get into? The confidence side or the two-way awareness, or what?
Probably the authenticity and the confidence side of things. And I knew when it came to the presentation and the charisma side of things, she was going to take it over and she was going to be like, yeah, we got this. And so, I don't know, there was a synergy there. There was a symbiosis there. There was something that was so overlapped and so connected. And it just kept me coming back to the fact that people are all the same. We're all the same. There's not these big differences that are made out to be. We're so the same.
But
to
write
I
a
say,
book, but
Yeah.
to write a book, it's got to be seamless. How did you guys make it seamless?
that's
Well,
her.
that was the beauty of the way that I set it up, because if we had done it like a normal book, then there could have been some, whoa, wow, did they get to that part? But because of the way it's set up, it is perfection, even if
Yeah.
I do say so myself.
But there's a lesson here that I think is, we're sitting over here in the States, Rich and I, and it's an election nightmare. I'm sorry, election year. And every time you turn on the TV, there's like the difference of opinion. Oh my gosh, like screaming at you with extreme right and left views. And there's anger that can flow in all of this, when in the end, we really have to understand, no matter what side you are on, we want the same thing. We want a good country. We want a better country. We want happiness. We want to feel safe. We want to have the money to go to the grocery store. We all want the same thing, right? So that difference of opinion, sameness of truth, and the way this book came about, I think, is also a very good example of what, like I said, it's the human experience, but it's what we're going through right now. There's a huge difference of opinion in our world. And yet there's so much sameness that we need to see the sameness a little bit more than the difference.
So okay, you both say yes. You start the process. I mean, Ciara jumpstarts it. She's like dives off the deep end really fast. She's into it. When you came back to your mastermind and said, we've done the book, what was the response of your mastermind where the challenge first originated at?
It was very funny, actually, because, well, yes and no. I mean, Lee already knew that we were going to do it. He was
Right.
fully aware of what the capabilities of each of us were. And actually, he said it on that first call. He said, and Ciara, that if you've been listening and if you've been learning over the last while, you know exactly what collaboration is all about. And as soon as he said that, I said, oh, Sandra Dee, write the book. Because the idea that we're all coming together and that we're doing things together is so important, that it's connection, it's collaboration, it's the collective. So then when we came back on that call and he had messaged me and he said, do you have a link? Because that was the telling thing. Do you have a link for the book? Yes, I do have a link for the book. I don't have like a sale page or anything. So, what do you want me to give? And that was it. It was done. It was, of course it was going to be done.
Yeah.
And so that was, high five, well done.
And I think, Rich, the important thing is too, that Ciara and I think both realize the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. And so you're like, what was the reaction of the people when you came back? And I hesitated. I didn't jump in to say anything because it was, while they're very supportive and wonderful and congratulations and thumbs up and all kinds of emojis of every possible celebratory kind that you can think of, but it was almost like that's where we hold each other to. Of course, we're going to get it done because we said we were going to do it. So it wasn't, I don't think anybody said, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. It was, yay, thumbs up, good job, moving on. Like, and that's kind of it. I mean, you're held to a higher standard when you're around people that are of that level. And so that's, to our benefit. We didn't get a lot of attaboys.
Well, and again, that's part of what a mastermind
I heard
should do
something.
for you. Everyone should rise together. Everyone should rise in a mastermind.
Yeah.
Ciara, what were you going to say? Come on, you
heard
can jump in there.
something as well,
Don't be
which I
afraid.
thought it was brilliant. And I was a few weeks ago, and somebody said, you're never going to get praised for something that you can already do really well. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, oh my God, that's the truth. If you come and you like create the next nuclear fission, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, then oh my God, that's amazing. But if you're like really good at writing, if you're really good at acting and you come along and you do that again, people go, yay, good job.
You do that again. Meryl Streep again. Nah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but collaborative books are all the buzz right now. People are doing collaborative book, but it's like you write your chapter, I write my chapter, we put them all together and we call it a collaborative book.
Yeah.
You guys really did this in a way that you wanted to make it look and feel like one book, but it was collaborative. So were you guys working on the same page in the cloud and you would each go in and write a portion so you each saw each other, or was it separate and then you brought it back together?
It's totally separate. Totally separate. And we're part of another book, actually, which is a collaborative book with 20 plus authors or around about there. That's a whole different experience. That book, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later on too, because that book launch is coming up. That, and Ciara has overseen that. That is really like her project as well. And so I think the process of putting that together has been much more what people usually think of, although the content of the book is very different. But coming together, it's one chapter written by a person, one chapter written by another person with the formula. And, that's kind of what people are used to. What we did is very different.
So what would you say as tips for people that may be thinking of this? Now they know you can do this. You can actually have two people, two different parts of the world, write a book together and it comes out good.
I think like any collaboration, you have to look at who you're collaborating with. Right. Are you in alignment? The values in alignment. I look for integrity. That's one of my values. Is this person going to be there to support you as you're going through this journey? What are the things that are important to you? And does this other person actually fit with you in that? And then I think it'll work. That's my thought.
What about you, Ciara?
And
what tips would you give?
I'd say open your mind. Don't think inside the box, because we're so conditioned to think in very specific ways. So, okay, I'm doing a collaborative book, then it must be this way and this way and this way and this way. If you open your mind to what's possible and you play with it and you let your imagination run a bit and you get excited about it, and you've, like Sandra Dee said, you find the right person, then suddenly you'll land on something that fits who you are. A lot of people write because they've been told that they need to write a specific way. They've been told that there's rules. You have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this, and it becomes very boring and ugh. And then people talk about writer's block. There's no such thing as writer's block. I know people are going to be so annoyed, but there isn't. It literally means that you're just not writing what you really want to write about. And so when you get rid of all the rules and all the noise, you're not going to have writer's block. You're just going to have joy and excitement and a cool project and someone nice to do it with.
Okay, so now I get to jump into the story, because Sandra did call me and said, Rich, I got to write a book in less than 30 days. And she said, Ciara, is already jump started. She's already working on it. Where do I start? And it was kind of the conversation of, she felt she was behind the 8 ball a little bit because you were so on top of it. Sandra, did that add pressure to you when you knew?
Oh yeah.
She's already sizzling down the road?
Oh yeah. But I still waited another 3 or 4 days to start. I'm that girl. Yeah. She's the one that's got the book half done by the time she's off the call where she was asked to write the book. I'm the one that's like, the night before the term paper, I'm figuring out what the heck I'm going to write about, right? That's me. So very different styles. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was constantly thinking on it. So I'd be driving and thinking about the topics. What does this mean to me? And, some people say the shower is their creative place. For me, it's driving. So I like to drive because that's actually when stuff comes to me, and I'll pick up my recorder, or I'll jot something down at a red light on a piece. I always have a little piece of paper somewhere in my car, and I'll write something down. So if an idea comes to me, it will vacate as soon as it comes to me. So I have to have a way to document it, but it will come to me when I'm driving. So I was doing those kind of things. I just didn't actually put it together for a while.
Sandy Hart is dropping in and giving you some love and emojis right now.
Yay, Sandy. That's who
Thank
I
you,
was
Sandy,
singing
for
to
being
about
here.
earlier
By
on.
the way, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Join our conversation here. We are getting ready for the big book launch. This is a mini book launch, but this is for September. And we are going to do a live Zoom interactive full studio audience. You get to ask questions, you get to participate, win prizes, and you can hear them talk more in depth about the book.
We'll read some of it, I'm sure. And I'm going to take this opportunity because I just threw this at Ciara. This is the kind of thing that I do, right? It's like I throw this at Ciara and she goes, oh, okay, great. I want to make this as much like a real party as we can. And because we have people that are coming from all over the world, how do we do that? How do you make a virtual party feel like you're actually there and having fun? So we have a way that we're going to be spinning a wheel and giving away prizes, including our books, of course, and things like that. But I am looking to have a signature drink. When you go to a highfalutin kind of party, you walk in and there's a little person with a tray. Would you like a drink? And it's a little colorful thing, Well, preferably I'd like a prettier glass, Rich, but that's just me. So I need some help. We need some help here, though. So I am looking for an easy, so that people all over can do it, an easy recipe for a signature drink that people can prepare for the party. And if it has a non-alcoholic version, an alcohol-free version, and an alcoholic version for those lushes like myself, that would be great. So if somebody can send us a recipe and we choose your recipe, we're going to automatically send you a hardback book. No matter where you are. I'm responsible for that. It was my idea, so I will make sure you get it.
But this is the fun of doing this, and you can pull in people from all over the world, just like you guys have worked together. You never know where that drink's going to come from. You never know where in the world it could come. Because right now we're on multiple platforms, streaming live in multiple ways. You never know where this is going to come from.
No, and I need it. I'm totally serious. Like, you can send it to me, Sandra, at sandradeerobinson.com. You can send it in, you can put it in the comments here, ask me to direct message you. Like, there's 1,000 different ways. Just get it to us, and we're going to, Ciara will help me choose. And if we choose yours, then it has to be something that people have access to the ingredients. Don't be like sending us something that's only found in Madagascar that you can make a drink from. It's not going to work. So, like, make it easy. But yeah, we'd love to get some input on that. That'd be really fun.
So again, you want to hit the QR code, join us for the live big hour-long virtual event, The Difference of Opinion, the Sameness of Truth. Both these wonderful ladies will be there with me again. And we're going to have prizes.
We're going to have special guests. We're going to have surprise guests popping up. When you say an hour long, people are like, what the heck are we going to do for it? You're going to say,
oh, no. It's a packed hour-long fun time.
It's a party.
So I'm curious. What was the hardest part for you, Sandra, doing this book? What was the hardest part for you?
Yeah, I think the hardest part, there were two hard parts. One was just getting and it's funny because ever since I went through this, thank you very much, I'm focusing on a topic that I'm calling emotional agility. And so I'm developing some things around that. And part of that is being able to recognize the emotion that is taking over. And for me, it was grief, because I said I put my horse down the very same day that she said, yeah, we need a lot more from you. And and that was just, I misread, right? I made a mistake, but there I was in that situation. And I had a coach a long time ago that used to say to me, why are you manifesting this experience? Which made me want to just slug him through the phone, right? But I did that. I was like, why am I manifesting this experience that I am so shattered? All I want to do is go curl up in a corner and cry. And I have to write a book that's going to be beneficial to those that are reading it. How do I do that? And learning to not what's the word I'm looking, not to disregard the emotion that I was feeling,
Yep.
but to just simply say, okay, you're here. I know you're here. I'm gonna go do this right now, and not be overwhelmed and not go curl up in the corner, but actually say, I'm gonna go work on this. And sometimes guys have an easier way of doing that, I think, than women. And for me, I used to be completely tossed around by my emotions. So I think I've learned a lot, but that was probably the biggest challenge. The second one was actually hitting the button that said send. And I see Jorge is here.
Yeah.
And good to see you. And he said, after I'd written my book, I felt that some legacy would be forever. It does have a feeling that you're leaving a legacy. And that's why I'm so glad that Ciara asked me to do this, because my first book, which was Impact, which is behind me, there are so many beginner mistakes. I told Ciara this because she's a writing coach, right? I'm like, Ciara, I'll gladly do it. I need a better book. I need a better book than my first one.
Ciara, you are a writer. You have your magazine. So this is more in your wheelhouse. So what was the hardest part for you going through this project? And again, you jumped on it. You kind of grabbed a grenade and ran. But what was the hardest part for you?
The writing is never hard for me because it just always flows. But the bit that always gets me is I self-publish all the time. So I'll always just throw the books up and get them done. But it's always that final bit. It's that I got to get it all together. I want to pull it together. And the piece, and I've said this to Sandra Dee a couple of times, it's that I want you to have a great experience. So if we're doing something together, when I'm doing it on my own, I'm fine. I can have a great experience. It's just me. I'm only responsible for me. But when someone else is doing something, I never want them to not have a bad experience doing something that I love. And so particularly because Sandra Dee had gone through what she had gone through, and we had had conversations, and she know what I had gone through, I wanted to make sure that the experience of doing the book was really connected, that we were sharing with each other, that we were empathizing with each other, that we were considerate of each other, and then that we got something amazing done. And it all happened.
Yeah.
In 30 days.
Yeah.
Or less.
30 days. Put that a pin mark in there, everybody. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to gather back together September the 16th, 3 p.m. Eastern time, the same time. And we're going to do the hour-long book launch. You're going to hear more from these ladies. We're going to read some excerpts from the book. We are going to have surprise guests come in and talk about what they heard behind the scenes, because people we're talking, they were being called, they were being emailed. We're going to hear more about that part of the journey. And, of course, give away some prizes, give away some copies of the book as well. But I'm really curious. This is the name of the book. And I want you each to think of how you're going to answer this differently. It's called The Difference of Opinion, the Sameness of Truth. What is this book about, Ciara?
It's about two people coming together and having different opinions on 5 different topics, but those opinions are actually so similar, and we had never even spoken about them.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, what's your answer to that same question? What is this book about?
I've said that it is a close look at what it means to be human, because so often in the human experience, we say we're self-centered. I mean, I came from a business that was 127% self-centered all the time, because actors sell themselves, directors sell their own stuff. I mean, it strikes me more to think this way, but I think most people see the world as they see it and think that everyone else sees it differently. And maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but I think this is an opportunity to realize that we probably see and feel, in particular, we feel things very similarly.
And I think that's a great way to put that, especially being you're on different continents, totally different lifestyles and backgrounds, and to bring that together in a book and highlight the sameness but the differentness, and we're okay with that being reality. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know.
Sandra Dee
Exactly.
Robinson, Ciara Heneghan, thanks again for being here today. Again, join us, scan that QR code, join us for the launch party on September 16th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And these two ladies will be back here once again with me. Thanks for joining us for a special live pre-party event. And we'll see you in